Goodness is not protection. It is exposure. Goodness does not elevate you. It lowers you. It does not inspire loyalty. It creates dependence. And dependence is a leash. Not around their necks, around yours. Look back at your own life. Hasn't it happened to you? You tried to be the kind one, the forgiving one, the good one. And what did it bring you? Respect or disappointment? Gratitude or betrayal? History has written its verdict in blood. The graves of good leaders are everywhere. Leaders who refused to punish, who refused to deceive, who refused to take what was necessary. They were praised as noble right up until the moment they were destroyed. Machiavelli dared to whisper the truth society still hides. Goodness is not a principle. It is a mask. Wear it when it serves you. But the moment you mistake the mask for reality, you are finished. People don't respect goodness. They exploit it. They respect strength. They obey cunning. They follow power dressed up in the robes of virtue. And today, you will see why goodness without strategy isn't virtue. It is suicide. Generosity is the most seductive trap of all. When you give, you feel powerful, admired, loved. They praise you, call you noble, cheer your name. For a moment, you believe you have bought loyalty, secured your place, ensured their devotion. But that illusion does not last. Machiavelli rips away the veil and shows the darker reality. Generosity that is constant, uncontrolled, uncalculated, does not create loyalty. It creates dependence. Dependence decays into entitlement. Entitlement mutates into contempt. Gratitude is temporary. Expectations eternal. Think about it. Give someone a gift once, and they are grateful. Twice, and they are pleased. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Gratitude dies. They stop seeing it as generosity at all. They expect it. And when expectation takes root, resentment follows when it is not fulfilled. "Why didn't you give me more?" becomes the new refrain. The very act that once won you admiration becomes the seed of your ruin. History proves this mercilessly. Roman emperors who bankrupted the treasury on games and spectacles were adored as generous in their prime. But when the coffers ran dry, their subjects turned to curses. Generosity bought them applause today, but weakness tomorrow. The crowd that once adored them became the mob that demanded their heads. The tragedy wasn't that they were hated for giving. It was that they had taught their people to expect gifts forever. And no man, no empire, no treasury can feed an endless appetite. The same story plays out in every corner of life. The boss who bends over backward with perks and favors discovers the brutal truth. The moment one favor is withheld, resentment brews. The friend who always pays, always helps, always says yes, learns that when they stop giving, they stop mattering. The lover who showers gifts to buy affection realizes that affection purchased this way is fragile, ending when the gifts do. Generosity feels noble. It feels intoxicating. But Machiavelli warned, it is safer to be seen as frugal than to be destroyed by generosity. The frugal leader may be called stingy, but he preserves strength. And without strength, wealth, reserves, armies, authority, he cannot survive. He cannot command. He cannot rule. Applause today cannot save you tomorrow, because tomorrow demands power, not praise. People remember your failure to give far longer than your generosity. They turn kindness into expectation, expectation into demand, demand into resentment. What began as a virtue becomes a liability. The wise leader learns, ration generosity, give rarely, give decisively, make it memorable, not routine. One calculated act of generosity can bind loyalty for years, if given at the right time, in the right way. But constant generosity cheapens itself. It becomes worthless. Haven't you seen this already? The parent who never says no raises children who despise them. The boss who always yields loses authority. The friend who always sacrifices ends up abandoned. Endless generosity is not kindness. It is slow suicide. Now step beyond generosity. Think about goodness itself. The last time you forgave someone who didn't deserve it. The last time you gave more than you could afford to give. The last time you told the truth when lying would have protected you. Did the world reward you for your virtue? Or did it sharpen its teeth and take more? Goodness is intoxicating. People cheer you, admire you, praise you. But slowly, applause becomes expectation. Your kindness, once a gift, becomes something they believe they are owed. Your mercy, once an exception, becomes something demanded as a right. Your honesty, once seen as noble, becomes the very blade they use against you. And then you find yourself drained, cornered, exposed, not because you were bad, but because you were too good. History is merciless in proving this truth. Julius Caesar pardoned his enemies. They repaid him with daggers. Richard II forgave his nobles. They deposed him and forced his abdication. Their mistake was not weakness of arms. It was weakness of virtue. Here is the most uncomfortable truth. The world does not care who you really are. It only cares about what you look like. You can be honest in private, kind in secret, merciful in your heart. But if you do not appear that way in public, it means nothing, and the reverse is darker still. You can be cruel, manipulative, ruthless behind closed doors, but if you project the mask of virtue, they will call you good. The mask matters more than the face. Haven't you already seen this? The man who preaches fairness but schemes for advantage. The politician who donates publicly while hoarding power in private. The friend who appears loyal while calculating betrayal. Still, they are believed, they are trusted, they are rewarded. Why? Because they understand what most refuse to. The mask of virtue is stronger than virtue itself. But here lies the trap. Many leaders wear the mask so often they begin to believe it themselves. They forget it is only a mask. They start to think they are truly merciful, truly generous, truly honest. And when they begin to believe the performance, they forgive too much. They give too much. They reveal too much. They confuse the mask for reality, and their enemies exploit it. This is how rulers fall, not because they were bad actors, but because they believed their own act. The survivors never forget. They know appearances are tools, not truths. They smile while plotting. They speak of peace while preparing for war. They show just enough kindness to earn trust, just enough honesty to appear credible, just enough mercy to inspire loyalty, but never too much, never beyond control. And above all, they never forget. It is only a mask. Mercy feels good, doesn't it? Forgiving an enemy makes you feel noble. Offering endless chances makes you feel righteous. But Machiavelli cuts deeper. Mercy without strength is suicide. Mercy without edge is not virtue. It is weakness dressed in velvet. When you forgive too freely, you invite rebellion. When you show too much compassion, you lose authority. When you give endless chances, you touch others there are no consequences. And once fear disappears, respect disappears with it. Machiavelli went further. It is safer to be feared than loved. Love is fragile. It lives on conditions. People love you when you serve their interests, when you please them, when you feed their desires. But the moment you cannot, love decays into resentment. Love is loyalty on a leash. It snaps the moment someone else offers a better bargain. Fear endures. People may not love the ruler they fear, but they obey. They may grumble in private, but they hesitate before defiance. Fear appeals to something deeper than love. Survival. But beware. Pure cruelty leads to ruin. A tyrant who rules only through terror breeds hatred, and hatred is dangerous. People will suffer under cruelty until they no longer care if they live or die. Then they risk everything to end you. That is why power is an art of balance. Cultivate fear, but never let it become hatred. Punish decisively, but only with reason. Be ruthless when needed, but never needlessly cruel. Fear must be precise, surgical, controlled. The teacher who is too lenient loses control. The one who is too strict sparks rebellion. The one who blends firmness with fairness commands respect. Respect comes from boundaries, from consequences. Mercy works only when it is rare. When people know you could have destroyed them, but chose not to. That kind of mercy inspires loyalty because it reminds them of your power. Endless mercy inspires contempt because it proves you have none. Fear is not the opposite of love. It is the foundation of control. Without it, no empire, no company, no family, no relationship survives. People will always test limits, always push boundaries, remove consequences, and chaos takes their place. Love cannot maintain order on its own. Only fear can. So yes, show mercy, but only when it sharpens your authority. Yes, allow yourself to be loved, but never depend on it. And when mercy and authority collide, remember Machiavelli's blade. It is better to be feared than loved, because fear remains long after love has betrayed you. This is what most refuse to say aloud. The ends often do justify the means. You've been trained to recoil at the idea, to cling to morality as though it were absolute. But Machiavelli stripped away illusions. He asked the question that still unsettles. If cruelty secures peace, is it truly cruelty, or is it mercy on a grander scale? If deception saves lives, is it sin or duty? The uncomfortable truth is this: outcomes matter more than intentions, and history is written not by the virtuous, but by the victorious. The latter who lies to secure resources may be condemned in the moment, but if that lie builds an empire, he is remembered as a savior. The general who wages ruthless war is despised while the war rages, but if the bloodshed buys generations of stability, statues rise in his honor. The executive who cuts thousands of jobs is cursed in headlines, but if the company survives and thrives, he becomes a visionary. In each case, the means were ugly, but the results redefined them. Machiavelli never gave permission for cruelty without reason. He never advised lying for pleasure or ruthlessness for sport. What unsettles us is that he forced us to admit morality must bend when survival is on the line. A ruler who clings to virtue while his people starve is not moral. He is negligent. His goodness is worthless if it leads to ruin. Failure dressed as virtue is still failure. You see this in your own life. The parent who refuses to discipline a child because it feels cruel ends up raising someone unprepared for the world. The partner who refuses to leave a toxic relationship because it feels harsh prolongs the suffering of both. The leader who refuses to lie, punish, or cut ties for the sake of seeming good destroys the very thing they were meant to protect. The price of clinging to pure goodness is often greater than the price of dirtying your hands. Here lies Machiavelli's paradox. Goodness has its place, but only as long as it does not threaten the foundation of power. Mercy must never create disorder. Generosity must never cause ruin. Honesty must never expose weakness. If the only way to preserve your family, your company, your empire, even your own survival, is to betray the very ideals you claim to honor, then you must betray them, because what good is it to stand in ruins, clutching virtue like a tattered banner? And yet, the mask still matters. The people want to believe their leader is moral. They want the illusion of compassion, the comfort of believing their ruler acts for their sake, even when he does not. The art is here. Act ruthlessly when you must, but cloak it in virtue. Let your punishments be framed as justice. Let your deception wear the costume of strategy. Let your cruelty be remembered as strength. They will forgive the means if the ends are in their favor. In time, they will forget the methods altogether. That is how legacy is written. Legacy is not built on purity. It is built on results. People may whisper about your lies, your betrayals, your cruelty, but if the kingdom stands, if the company thrives, if the family survives, they will call you wise. They will call you great. They will rewrite your story until you are remembered as good. The masses will never dig deep enough to uncover the truth. They will prefer the myth, and the myth will endure long after you are gone. This is Machiavelli's final, ruthless gift. Power belongs not to those who cling desperately to virtue, but to those who turn virtue into a weapon. The ends may not always justify the means, but when survival is at stake, when the walls are closing in, the ends are all that matter. The weak cling to their ideals and perish. The strong bend those ideals, wield them as theater, camouflage, strategy, and they are the ones remembered. So the question is no longer whether you should be good. The question is whether you can afford to be good. And if the answer is no, then you must decide. Will you have the stomach to act as Machiavelli advised? Will you wear the mask of virtue while wielding the blade of necessity? Or will you cling to goodness while the world devours you? Because in the end, history does not remember those who were good. It remembers those who lasted. The annals of power are not filled with saints. They are filled with survivors. Survivors who understood that appearances are tools, not truths. Survivors who learned that mercy without edge is weakness, that generosity without restraint is ruin, that love without fear is nothing but illusion. Look closely at the world around you, the rulers, the CEOs, the icons you admire. Do you truly believe their rise was built only on honesty, only on mercy, only on kindness? Or do you sense the truth beneath the mask, that their survival demanded sacrifice, deception, cruelty disguised as care? They will never admit it. They don't have to, because the results speak louder than the methods, because the mask is intact, and because you, like everyone else, would rather believe the mask than face the darker reality. But you You are hearing the reality now, and once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. The world is not ruled by the good. It is ruled by the cunning, who pretend to be good. Those who wield fear like a scalpel, not a hammer. Those who grant mercy only when it strengthens their power. Those who understand that survival justifies what virtue condemns. And so the lesson cuts deep. Goodness, unguarded, is a noose. Virtue, untempered, is an open wound. But the mask of virtue, controlled, calculated, weaponized, is the sharpest sword of all. You will be praised for what you seem, not for what you are. They will follow the shadow, not the man. They will love the mask, even as the hand beneath it tightens the chain around their necks. The choice is yours. Do you wish to be good, or do you wish to last? One road ends in applause, followed by silence. The other ends in fear, respect, and memory. Machiavelli has already warned you. People forget those who were good, but they never forget those who endured. And as long as power exists, as long as men hunger for control, as long as kingdoms rise and fall, the mask will remain. You can curse it. You can deny it. You can recoil from its harshness. But in the shadows of history, in the secret councils of rulers, in the silence of survival, the truth has never changed. The world does not reward the good. It rewards those who wear goodness like armor and strike with the blade of necessity. So, choose carefully. Choose with open eyes. Because when your moment comes, when you are tested, when mercy collides with survival, when love falters and fear is the only anchor, your mask will be all that saves you. And if you forget that, if you start to believe you truly are what you pretend to be, then you will join the long list of names history praises as good. Names carved on tombs, not thrones. But if you remember, if you endure, if you master the mask, then history will whisper something different about you. Not that you were good, not that you were merciful, but that you lasted. And in the end, lasting is all that matters. Stay, because the next lesson will not flatter you. It will expose you. It will strip away even the comfort you think remains. And if you can face that, then perhaps you are ready to see power as it truly is.